Hi everybody, and welcome to a brand new YouTube video, a little how-to video for you. So I wanted to show you how to do edge stamping with your dies that have a fancy edge like this one. So here you can see I've used my Elegant Eyelets octagons. So these obviously give you that fancy edge, but how do you stamp on that without actually going over the edge and A, ruining the detail, and B, making your stamps look a little bit dodgy? Because obviously if you stamp over the edge where the detailing is, you're going to lose some of the definition in the stamps. So I thought that I loved making this sample, and it gave me the idea to do this video, because although I know how to do this and it is quite easy to do, not everybody will. So I thought I'd just take the time to do this little video with the new stamp collection that shows you how to do that and how easy it is. So this is obviously my original sample. I'm going to put that to one side, and I'm going to quickly flick through the new stamps. So if you saw my YouTube live on Monday evening, you would have seen me do the reveal and the first demo with these beautiful, beautiful new stamps. These are the Floral Curios Cascading Frames collection. These are brand new, officially being launched tomorrow, which is Friday the 7th of July, on my shows on Create and Craft, which start at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. So I'll give you a reminder of all the show dates at the end, but I'm just going to quickly run through these just in case you haven't seen these before, or you didn't see the Sneaky Pete live demo that I did on Monday evening. So this is the, as I say, the Floral Curios Cascading Frames collection. Is brand new, and these have been designed to give you the choices really of whether you want to do big cards or small cards. All of them have these beautiful, beautiful cascading flower details. I'm going to flick that over. These are the ones that I've been using. So there will be bits of ink on these. They've been loved already. And you can see the size is perfect. These are on A6 plates, so that just in fact, let's just do a quick measure of this one just so it gives you a rough idea of how big this stamp is. So it's just over 4 inches tall by just under 3.5 inches wide. So the way I've designed these, clearly you can see straight away, this being the octagon, is going to work with the octagon dies. So all of my large stately dies, the large ones on the A4 magnetic sheets, these will work with all of the different shapes that I have in my dies. So all you need to do is whatever size your stamp is, you will go 2 up from the dies, so 2 sizes up from the dies, and it's going to fit in there perfectly. And that is true with all of these shapes. So let's just do a quickly, you know me, I like to think of everything, and it makes good use of the stamps, so you can stamp them straight onto a plain piece of card, or you can use your fancy dies with them like I've done just there. So you've got the Corsage Octagon. So there are 2 different sets with this. It's all one bundle, it's all one collection, but there are 2 different focal points. So the Corsage is the one that features the daisies. So you can see Corsage has roses and it has daisies in there, yeah? So that is the Corsage Octagon. You also have the Corsage Rectangle. Remember as well, you can use these in whichever orientation you like. So it doesn't have to be top and bottom like I've done there. It can be left to right, and you can do that with all of them. So that is the Corsage Rectangle, and again, perfect size for small cards or big cards, because you know I like to do big cards. The Corsage Oval, which is the one that I used on my demo on Monday evening. So do click back and look at the live tab. So if you look under the live tab on the content where the videos are, it will give you all the videos that I've done as part of my live demos. And then we move on to the Posy collection. So there are 3 in the Corsage, 3 in the Posy. The Posy is the one that has the pansy in. So still has the rose, still has this beautiful big bloom and the tiny delicate blooms, but the Posy has the pansies in. So it's a point of difference. So you've got the square there, and you have the circle, the Posy circle. They're just beautiful, aren't they? It's so detailed. There you go, look. And then the last one in the Cascading Frames is the Posy Chic Label. And the Chic Label is what I'm going to use today. Now, the die set for the sheet label die set is not out yet, so you're actually getting a stamp ahead of the die release. It is on its way, so hopefully the new sheet label die, the double stitched one, which I will show you in a second, hopefully that will be here by the end of July, or certainly by the middle of August. So you will already have the die, but this is a really easy one to just chop a rectangle and then just snip the edges off anyway. So that's the Posy sheet label. So they are your two trios, if you like, of the Cascading frames, the Floral Curios Cascading frames. And I just know that you're going to get so much use from these because A, they're pretty, B, you can colour them whatever colourways you want to do. You can do them with watercolour pens, you can do them with my Radiant Luster pigment powders, you can do them with my Colour Radiance alcohol markers, so many different, or you can just stamp and emboss them. They look equally beautiful. And then you've got the A5 sets. So there are 3 A5 sets that complement the frames. The first one being the Floral Curios Beautiful Blooms. And this is the first time I've done individual blooms. There are 33 individual stamps in here. You can see already just by looking at that you have a flower. All these flowers will coordinate with the respective cascading frames. And what you have, if I flip that over, is you have 3 or more sizes of the individual flowers that are featured within the frames. So there are 2 different types of roses. There are the daisies, there are these little blooms, there are the bigger blooms when I find it. Where are you? This one. So there are the big blooms there, and also the other rose. So you've got loads and loads in there. And what that means is you can fussy cut them out if you look. They're all really easy to fussy cut if you want to do that. Or you can mask stamp them and create your own bouquets. A really valuable set of stamps. And then we move on from there, from the Beautiful Blooms to the Sweetheart Sentiments. So these have been designed to work perfectly with the 2 sets of frames, the Cascading frame set. And these have the little heart detail. It's a teeny tiny heart, like a doodle heart. And these will fit within the respective frames. And these are your with love on your birthday, happy birthday, anniversary, special friend, etc, etc. 27 stamps in there. And then the last of the A5 stamp sets is the exclusive limited edition Beautiful Borders. So the Beautiful Borders is actually available now. You can click on the link in the description and you can order this before the rest of the collection is released on TV. This set won't be on television. It's an exclusive limited edition that you can only get from myself or from Julia or from my other retailers, my select retailers. So I'm going to flip that over and just give you a quick overview of what you get here. You get 3 borders that are specifically designed to go with the Corsage collection. So 3 that specifically feature the daisy. And you have a chunky one. I'm saying chunky, it's not chunky. Let's just tell you how big that is. So that is 1.5 inches deep. And then you have a medium size, and then you have the individual focal flower. So the element within the Corsage collection, the daisy, which is smaller. The same with the Posy collection. So you have the chunkier one, which is this one, which is 1.5. You have the next one, which is 1.25, and then you have the individual flower here, which coordinates with the Posy collection. So that is my top tip. Get these before they sell out, because I won't be reordering them. It's a limited edition, as I say, and you can only get that from my website, which is honeypotcrafts.co.uk. There you go. Or from my select retailers. So let's get cracking on this card. So we are, as I mentioned, we're going to use the Posy sheet label. And we're also going to use the individual flowers from this. And we're also going to use the Sweetheart Sentiments. So I'm using 3. And the idea behind this collection, so when I originally designed all this, it was to give you choices for something that you don't know me for, which is flat postable cards, or relatively flat postable cards. And the stamps are going to do all the work for you. You can see on the original sample, the one that I'm going to show you the technique for today, I've done this in monochrome, which is different tones of yellow and lemon. We're going to do reds today, But literally all that I've used on this card is 2 die sets, which is the Elegant Islet Octagons and the Shabby Butterfly dies, and the rest, believe it or not, is just stamps and cardstock and the watercolour pens. And for me, that is just fabulous because we're not having to throw loads of things on it like I do usually. I wanted to do something specifically, a collection where the stamps are doing all the work. And that's a phrase we use a lot, but it's true with this set. So let's get cracking. So what I've got here is, I mentioned already that I'm going to do this in red tones. So I've got my 2 Shabby Butterflies there, which I'm just going to pop to one side because I don't need those just yet. I've also got one of my Splendid Swirl dies, which is this set. Oops. So this is the Splendid Swirls. And these are an absolute must-have for me because they're just so beautiful. And if you look, there are lots of different places you can snip into that to make it smaller, which is exactly what I'm going to do when I pop it on the card. So they are the Splendid Swirls in my Adornments collection. Again, link in the post. So I'll put the link in my description. And just before I move on, that is the Shabby Butterfly die set. I've used the solid ones here, as you can see. So I've used the solid ones, but you do also get the 2 delicate lacy ones. So Shabby Butterflies. And surprise, surprise, there is a link in the description. I always put the links in because it just makes it easier for you. Saves you having to go on the website and search for things if I put you a link there. So what we're going to start with is the actual shabby, the Posy Chic label. So these are the dies that are not out yet. So they will be coming. They're on the way, so they won't be long. So these are my double stitched chic label dies, which give you that beautiful debossed stitching detail on the edge look, which I just think is absolutely beautiful. So there's no point in me trying to create a background on here and stamping over those debossed sections because it doesn't give you a clear stamped image, and it also spoils the effect. Why pay for dies that have this beautiful debossing detail to cover it up with stamps? It just doesn't make sense. And this is what I'm going to show you today. So we're going to do all the stamping in one go. And I don't know what I've got on this piece of card here, but I'm going to try and rub it off. There we go. That will do nicely. Thank you very much. So we're going to take the stamping platform for this, and I'm going to give you a little tip on how to line these up. So regardless of which shape, so if you're going for the Elegant Islet Octagons, for example, the technique I'm going to use now to show you how to line it up is exactly the same. It's exactly the same regardless of which shape you're using. I am using my Watercolour Blending Brush pens. So I've got mine all in colour order. So I've selected a couple of greens and a couple of reds. It's worth treating yourself to these if you can. We have no set ones. There are currently 4 sets. There will only ever be 4 sets. We don't have any set ones at the moment, but what we do have is set 2, 3 and 4. These will also be on my show on Create and Craft. So if you haven't got them yet, now is the time to get them. Set 1 has been reordered and will be here in about 6-7 weeks. And it's the very, very last time I'm restocking them, because I've restocked them about 6-7 times now. And of course, I can't just order a couple of hundred, I have to order thousands. Right, so we're going to take the stamp out. Because I'm watercolouring, I am using my Onyx Black VersaFine Clair. I'm going to take the stamp off the sheet. This is the very first time I've used this stamp. So I'm showing you exactly what I would do with any of them, okay? So, let me just show you. Doesn't matter with this stamp which way up it goes because you've got cascading flowers on both sides, so it doesn't matter. So I'm currently at this stage ignoring all the flowers around the outside, and I'm looking purely at the lines, the bit of line that you see showing in the stamp. So I ignore all the flowers because they are designed to cascade outside of the lines of the stamp. So I'm looking at just the lines, and I'm trying to line up the lines so that they are straight. So I'm looking at the edge of my die cut, seeing if it's the same roughly distance. I mean, don't stress yourself about this, obviously, because it'll still look stunning even if it's a bit skewy. So the same distance in from both sides, and I'm just going to nudge that up so I can see that I'm a little bit lower here than I am there. I'm going to go a little bit further, and let's see if we've got that straight enough. It looks straight to me. It looks a little bit further along that way. So same sort of distance there as it is there, look. It's the same sort of distance here as it is there. Well, actually it's not. I'm going to come in a little bit further. There we go, look, so same sort of distance there. It says, keep moving it. But I want you to get this right, because it does save you having to stamp again if you don't get it right. So similar sort of distance, same there as there. So that to me looks like it's more or less spot on. And now we're going to pick the stamp up. So if you saw the video I did on Monday evening, you will know this. I kept the inside of my stamps as a solid, rather than have the manufacturers cut that section out, because as soon as you remove that section in the center of the stamps, they become too flexible, and then it's difficult to try and get them to go in the right shape. So I've picked this up on my stamping platform. I'm going to hold the bottom of this, and I'm just going to roll it back without moving the positioning, and I'm just going to roll it back down, look. And what that does is that removes any air bubbles that are under there, so the chances of getting the ink where you don't want it are really reduced. So now let's get this stamped. So we're going to stamp all over this, and I'm not going to be able to do it with this stamp, but for example, if I got a little bit of ink in the center of there where I don't want it, do clean that off before you stamp, just with a bit of tissue or a wet wipe or something like that. So let's see if I've got this in the right position. It'll be good if I have. And here we go. You're gonna love this stamp. Oh, that's just so beautiful. In fact, I do need to go in again, just there. Oh, that's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And there we go, look. So you can see it's more or less in the right position. Same sort of distance on the sides, more or less. And I'm happy with that. So I'm going to pop that to one side to dry. I'm going to clean the stamp and put it straight back in the packet where it belongs. You know I like to be tidy. And I always tell you to put your stamps back as soon as you've done with them, and then you know where they are for next time. So that can now be drying, and I'll just leave that to one side before we start colouring it in. I'm going to put that back in its pack, and now I don't have to go hunting for it later when I'm looking for it. So now we're going to move on to the bit that I wanted to show you. So we've got that stamped. We could go either direction. We could go portrait or we could go landscape, but we'll leave that portrait for now. So now we're going to come to the bit that I wanted to show you, and it's really easy, honestly. All you need for this is a bit of kitchen roll, and this will be your best friend for this. This is the Scotch removable tape. You can do this with washi tape. So if you've got washi tape already, it's the same sort of thing, but the Scotch removable tape is fabulous because it's just the right amount of tacky that will go so it won't move, but it also peels off without leaving any residue. So I'm just going to put the first one on, and I'm just going to bring that in and show you. Let's just see if I've got that in the right place. I haven't, so let's go back in again. And it's right at the top end, but not at the bottom end. And there we go. So I don't know whether you can see, you might be able to just see, there you go, look, that angle there. So can you see right in the corner when the dye goes through the cutting machine, it gives you that teeny tiny slightly raised bit, yeah? And that is the area that I'm trying to mask off. So I'm going to go all the way around and do all my sides with this. Just make sure you don't leave any gaps, because I have done that. I have made that mistake before. You won't be able to reuse this tape because it will have ink on it in a minute. But this is a fabulous way of using all your dyes with a decorative edge without covering up the lovely decoration. See, I've just a bit too short there. So I've got another bit here, look. Let's put that on. Just to make sure I don't get that corner. Yeah, so it's a lovely way to use all your dyes. Like I say, I can't see the point in paying for lovely decorative dyes if you can't stamp on them, especially when all it takes to be able to solve that problem is a little bit of washi tape or Scotch tape, removable tape. So put that to one side, and then we're going to create our own border with this. So we're going to decorate all the way around this frame using the individual flowers. And this is another top tip for you all. So I don't know why I've turned it around, because it really doesn't matter which way around it goes. So at this stage, you've got a couple of different options. I'm just going to bring in the original Floral Curios collection. So these were released last year, I think, or maybe, yeah, last year, 2022. So these are the original trios. So the Corsage Collage, which is a larger image, still the same flowers. The Corsage Corners, which I'm just going to put there. The Corsage Circles, Posy Collage, Posy Corners, and the Posy Circles. So you've got another trio that will coordinate. They're all designed to be standalone, but obviously you can mix and match if you want to. So taking the corners, so the Corsage Corners, look, because I've used the Corsage. Oh, it's a Posy, so it's a good job I checked. Let's go back to the Posy. So the Posy Corners, which feature that lovely pansy. So we could use that now and decorate the top, the bottom, and all four of the sides. So that's another way that you can mix and match collections that you might already have. So you might have already bought the Floral Curios original collection, or we can go with the brand new individual flowers that are smaller. Loads and loads of choice with this, loads of choice. So I'm going to make, because I'm a little bit, I like things to be symmetrical. So we're going to create our own decorative edge on this that matches what we've got here. So I'm not masking anything. I'm literally going to stamp next to each other, so I don't have to worry about masking. And I already know that this is the focal flower. So I'm going to take the next size down of that, or I am when I find it. There it is. And we're going to stamp the points. Remember, little tip for you. Another little tip. Change the orientation of the flower. So I'm going to do top and bottom first. So I'm going to stamp off the edge, and I don't want to come in all the way. Yeah, and then I'm going to turn it over and do the other one. So if I stamp it in the same direction, it's going to be the opposite. And then we're going to do the four corners as well. So I'm not worrying too much about how much I go in, because it will look beautiful regardless. So we've started there, look, with that flower. And little time saver thing for you when you're working with these, because if I decide, when I get all the way around, if I decide I could have had a couple more of these, I can go back in. So instead of putting it back inside on the acetate, I'm just sitting it in its position on top, look. so it's just on top. So the next flower I need to get is the pansy. So let's get the medium-sized pansy, which is here. And we're going to stamp that next to these ones. So we're building up our own little collage. I'll just mention to you as well the acrylic circles, because I was talking to Karen the other day, my sister who runs the shop for me, and she was saying we're getting really low on the acrylic circles. I've popped a link in the description just in case you haven't got these yet, because they're a really useful set of acrylic blocks. Remember, mine are not like the normal ones that are out there. Mine have that lovely ergonomic groove, and you can see how easy it is to stamp with these. So I'm going to just stamp next to that, and I'm going to do it both sides. Let's work out. I'm just trying to see whether I want to do it on both sides. Let's just check. I'm not. We're going to be... This is why I love these stamps. Already, look, my brain is working, trying to make this a creative edge. And this is how easy it is to do. We will get to the colouring in a second, so I've not put another daisy in between, another pansy even, in between. We're going to take one of the other flowers, the rose. And I already know, looking at this, that I can get one of the larger roses in there. So I'm going to do that. So I'm going to take one of the larger roses. Just get it in the middle of my block. So this section here, I can see, look, the rose is going to fit just perfectly. So we're just going to stamp the rose. Oh, perfect. 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 Marvellous. But on the side panels, I'm not going to stamp the rose. I could if I wanted to, because if I stamped the rose in the middle there, we'd got a little gap for something smaller, but I'm not. We're going to change it up because we can. So you'll notice that in all of these frames, so regardless of which shape you're going with, it doesn't matter. They all have these lovely little tiny blossoms, and that's what we're going to put in here. So in the stamp sheet, we've got small, medium, large, medium, small. So you've got choices. So let's see which one fits. I think we'll get 2 in there, which I think will be really rather beautiful. So just check the angle and let's see if we can get 2 in there. Marvellous. Marvellous. I do love stamps. There's just so much you can do with stamps. And I'll wait till I take the backing off. So at the moment it looks a little bit messy because we've stamped outside of the Scotch tape. I'm going to leave those there in case we decide to, in fact, you know what? Let's do it. I'm going to put that to one side. That can be drying for a second. And we're going to do the corners on here. Why not? Why not? So another bit of kitchen roll. Another bit of kitchen roll. And this time I am going to use the posy corners. That's a little bit of a bonus for you, isn't it? So I can show you a little trick with this. So I already know that all you're going to see once my sheet label has gone on is these corners. Yeah, you're not going to see much of the edge. So you've got in here 2 different sized corners. I'm going to go with the small one, and I'm going to stamp it off the page. I promise you, it seems like it's time consuming. It isn't. It's just because you're watching me. If you were doing this yourself, you'd be well away. You'd be cracking on by now. So I am going to stamp the 4 corners, but I'm going to hang off the edge, so we only get a little bit of detail. And also with the corners, you'll notice when I stamp it, so let's just stamp off the edge, you will notice that the 4 corners also have that lovely little pollen detail. So these little splatty things are actually pollen. So turn that round and do the next corner. And what I love about doing this with the corners is the position is the same on all 4 corners. So it actually rotates automatically with the cardstock, and I just think that looks marvellous. And we'll colour it all in one go, you see. So the stamping is probably what will take you the longest, but the colouring in is really, really quick. So let's just get that. And I'm just trying to make sure we get enough of that rose on the edges. And then the last one. For those of you that know me, you will know that I always design things for a purpose. I don't just design stamps for the sake of it. And I always try and make sure that you can use them with previous collections. And that's exactly what we've got here. So the brand new 2023 Cascading Frames collection from the Floral Curios is a perfect match. And I say perfect and I mean perfect match with the original Floral Curios. And of course you've got all these extra textures in with these as well. So that is all the stamping we need to do. So let's just show you how fab that looks. I think that's one of my hairs. It's a long one, so it's not from my nose. So that is the corners stamped. Aren't they just beautiful? And because I've stamped off the edge, it takes away that grungier edge, and it just leaves us with the prettiness from the flowers. So now let's move back to, well, that's drying. We'll move back to, you can see where this is going, look. Already just in black and white, it looks lovely. So we'll pop that to one side and let that dry for a second, and we will come back to the tape, and I'm going to show you how to take this off. Let me just get a drink. My coffee's probably cold already. So, important thing to remember, the ink on top of the tape will not have dried. There you go, look, you can just see that glistening as I wiggle the camera, so you can see that that ink is still wet. It's dry on the card, but not on the tape. So, start from one area, look, peel it off, and then put it straight in the bin. So you could actually, if you use stays on, if you do this with stays on, it will dry on the tape, but I'm not a fan of stays on. I much prefer the VersaFine ink pads. But you could create your own washi tapes. If you have got a stays on ink pad in your stash and you've been wondering what to do with it because you've not used it for years, get yourself some Scotch tape, stamp a lovely pattern with the flower stamps, colour it in with your alcohol markers, and you've created your own washi tape. So now look, oh, I love this so much. Now look, we have created a fabulous, beautiful floral border all the way around this label shape, and it doesn't matter which die set you're using. So it could be the Elegant Islets. Remember, the Elegant Islet die sets have 10% off. I'm not sure whether it's expired already, but it's worth using the link and just checking to see if we've still got the 10% offer on. you can use any of my large dies and stamp and create a beautiful frame without losing the gorgeous detail. I'm trying to hold that still. There you go. How fabulous is that? And let's just put this together before I start colouring in, just so you can see where I'm going with this. So we've got that going on there, like, oh, look at that. I love these stamps so much. And then we've got this one going on top. How beautiful is that? Even just in monochrome. But no, we're going to colour this in. And we're going to colour it all in one go because it's easier. So that's another tip for you. These are the 3 bits that we need to colour in. Yeah? Looks like that's skewy, but I promise you it isn't. It's just the angle. So it's much easier when you've got all your stamping done like this to colour it in one go. Especially if you're watercolouring. It's just so much easier. So believe it or not, I am literally using 4 pens for this. So 2 different shades of green, because there are 2 different types of leaves in the corners and in the frame, and 2 different reds. Because we're watercolouring and because these pens are so good, we can create our own tones of red. So I'm going to start with let's start with the frame. Put that there. We'll start with the frame. So top tip, you can see what I did earlier. Look, just trying to find the right tones of red that I wanted. So I've got 2. So I've got this lovely red, and I've got this slightly darker tone red. Yeah. So we're going to start with the darker tone, which is this one. So always use your darker tone. Oh, I forgot now. Yeah, it's that one I've left on there. So we're going to start with the darker tone. So always use your darker tone if you're going to water it down. Water brushes. You do get 2 water brushes in with the sets of pens. I've obviously got one of these out somewhere, but you do get 2 water brushes in with your pens, so you can start straight away. And then once you've got used to those, you can upgrade yourself to the trio of water brushes. So these are my fine tip water brush set. And you get 3 with a fine tip in here. You get a small, a medium, and a large. And I'm using the small for this. But just make sure I've got no other colour on my water. You see I have from orange from Monday night. So let's just get rid of that. Scribble some of this colour on. And what we're going to do, because this is actually going to probably be the palest colour, so I'm going to choose the large flower as my palest colour. And there are actually 1, 2, 3, 4 of this flower. So I'm going to colour all 4 at the same time. So I'm scribbling some ink from these pens onto my brown craft sheet. I'm going to squirt 1 drop of water onto that. Oh, all right then, 2 drops of water. We'll check the colour on here, look. I mean, already, look, you can see that that's gone like a pinky red. So I'm going to take a bit more of the colour because I didn't want it that pink. Look at that, look. So we've now got a softer tone red just by using less water. So I'm going to speed colour this. Oh, already this, as soon as you add colour to this, it starts to look amazing. It's so therapeutic. I love sitting colouring in. The cardstock that I'm using, just in case you haven't seen me before, is my Ice White Essential cardstock. This is not watercolour cardstock. And I only released this Essential White cardstock on Monday evening because I've kept it for myself for so long. But you've got my sister to thank for it. She's told me that we should let you all have it. So you can now buy it for the very first time. I'm just going to make this one a touch darker. So it's not watercolour card, but it does take the watercolour pens quite nicely. So let's just do this one. You can see I don't even need to worry about shading or anything because the detail in these stamps is so good. You've just got the fun, and that's what I wanted with this. I wanted you to just have fun with them. Watercolouring is meant to be easy, and that's exactly what it is with this. And already, look, as soon as you have less water in a section, you get different tones. It's just so easy to work with. And we'll do the last one here. And yeah, I've just mentioned to you that it isn't watercolour card, but it is a really good quality cardstock that allows you to do some watery techniques. So whilst I've got that red there, I'm going to do a couple of these little cascading flowers as well to match. So a little tip for you, when you pick the colour up on your water brush, just take the top edge off when you're doing tiny stamps like this, and just do little dots. So don't try and do it in the traditional sense where you're colouring in swirls. Just do little taps, light taps, just to fill in these tiny flowers. Look how this image is coming to life already. Let's do this one here. I can't wait to see what you all create with these stamps. I just know there's going to be some amazing work out there. And then we just flip it over. Oh, do you know what? I'm going to do this little one at the bottom that's just on its own. Flip it over. And let's do the same on this side. So I am doing it to match, but it doesn't matter whether you do or not. Not all of the frames have the same image, just so you know. It's not all the same montage at the top and bottom. We'll do that little one. And we'll do this one, is that right? Yeah. I don't suppose it matters much because it's going to look beautiful either way. So that is the first. Look how beautiful that is already. Just from one colour. So now we're going to move on to the larger one. I'm going to put some more colour down because I know I'm going to need it for this because the flowers are a little bit bigger. We'll do one more drop of water. Oh, all right then, two. And we're going to colour in the same flower, so these. So just remember when you get to the bottom, just tilt my head so I can see, just don't go to the edge. I'll bring it in and show you in a minute. Because we're trying to keep a nice clean line where the debossing detail is from those dies. Perfect. The other good thing about these pens is, you know, after you've done it, if you think, oh, do you know what, I wished I'd done that darker, you can actually do that. You can go back in again and colour over the colour that's dried. And you can create your own tones, your own colours from these pens just by mixing the ink on your brown craft sheet, the same way that I've done here with the dark red. So this is a colour that isn't in the pens. This is a colour that we've created just by adding water. And you can see how quick it is. I'm literally just turning the image around and colouring each petal. The only time I'm paying any care really is when I get to the edge. And look how fabulous it looks as soon as you add a little bit of colour. And watercolouring, for anybody who thinks, oh, I can't colour in, watercolouring is absolutely the easiest. Anybody can do this and make it look fabulous. Even if you miss bits or you go over the edge, it really doesn't matter. It looks fabulous. If you're not a confident colourer, watercolouring is the way to go. So because I want this to coordinate, I'm probably going to do one of those centre flowers on the side panels, the same colour. It is the same as the, oops, let me just concentrate on this bit. It is the same flower that's featured on the Cascading frame. So let's just do one of these. Let's do this one. So one of these in the red. Actually, I'm not. I'm going to have to do both. Sorry, everybody. My brain won't let me do random. So here we go. And this is why all the time I take with the stamps is worth it when you start creating things like this. Remember, this is just one colour we've got on here so far. And I am going to do the corners. So remember, I said to you right before I started colouring in, do it all at the same time. I've just gone out the line on that one, but you know what? Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It's watercoloured. Doesn't matter if it's perfect. It's not meant to be. Right, so we've got the frames. And now we're going to move on to the corners. I'm just going to put a little bit more colour down. These pens, incidentally, are the same pens that I started using 3 years ago. So 2019 is when I first released these pens. And I'm still using this first set. So again, following suit, it's the same flower, same colour. The corners are very forgiving, because if you overlap into one of the other flowers, it doesn't matter, because you can colour over it. So here we go. I'm trying not to let it get too pale because I don't want it to look pink. I want it to be a red tone. So I'm just going to go back. There we go. Go over here again. And is there any more? Yeah, there's one at the bottom. Told you it was easy. And I can see that's starting to get a bit weak, so let me add a bit more colour. These pens are packed with colour. Packed with pigment, so they're going to last you, well, I've just told you, I've been using mine for 4 years, so I'm still on my original sets, and I've been using them for 4 years. So just work your way around. If you're bored watching me colour, you can fast forward this bit. Don't feel guilty. And wait till I get to the next bit. But I'm doing this from scratch because it's the best way for me to teach you how to do things. And I think there's another little petal on this one here. So I must have come in a little bit further on that one. So working my way around, and you'll notice I said to you at the beginning, do the largest flower with the watercolouring, because the next ones we're going to go direct with the pen, and that's actually quicker. And yes, you can go direct with pen onto this cardstock. As long as you don't saturate the cardstock, you'll be absolutely fine. I'm just going to make that a little touch darker. And again, I've got a little bit extra on that side from one of the others. And the last one in this colour, So this video is going out on Thursday evening, so Thursday the 6th of July, Thursday evening, which is the day before these launch. So the stamps are launching. I'll just do some of the technical stuff while I'm colouring in. So these stamps are launching on Create and Craft at 6 PM on Friday the 7th of July. So you can order from the show if you like to order from Create and Craft and you like to get your flexi payments in, that kind of thing. Or you can order direct from us, so direct from my website. And I've already told you it's honeypotcrafts.co.uk for those of you that don't know. Look how this is coming together, look. Yeah, so you can order direct from us and direct from the retailers from midnight on Sunday the 9th. We're not allowed to sell them before whilst I'm on TV. So it has to be after. I'm just looking for a bit of dirty kitchen roll. Just bear with me. No, I haven't got a dirty piece, so... Oh, yeah, I have. So remember to clean your mat and to clean your brush before you move on, because there will be red left in there, look. And that is now more or less clean, so I'm happy with that. Pop that over there out of the way, pop the lid on the water brush, and now we're going to colour in direct with the pens. So we're still using the same two pens. I'm going to come back to the frame first. The last thing I colour in are the leaves. So do a little check again before you move on to make sure you're using the right one. So that is red, and that is the darker red. So I'm going to take the darker red now, which is the one that we watered down, and we're going to colour in direct. So I'm going to colour the roses in direct. Let me bring that in and show you. So the roses, look, are here. So I'm going to colour the roses direct, which gives us that beautiful rich red colour on the rose. And it's quicker to colour in direct than it is with your water brush, which you wouldn't believe, would you? The point on these pens is so fine. Just take your time when you're doing the delicate parts, but you can get into all that detail with these lovely fine nibs. And the most impressive thing for me is, let's just do a couple of these teeny tinies. The most impressive thing for me is we're going direct onto cardstock here. So let's just have a couple of extra red ones from the small ones. Looks a bit Valentine-y, and now it makes that other lighter tone look pinky, but it isn't, it's red. Here we go. So I'm just working my way around. It's very relaxing. So you're probably listening to my voice and nodding off while you're watching me, but it'll be well worth it. Well worth it when we're finished. So a couple of the little ones. Which one did I do? This one. So it's exactly the same with the tiny flowers. Just do it with your Mr. Rose. Just do it with little tapping motions rather than trying to colour it in properly, because they are very dainty. And when I bring this in to show you in a second, let me just make sure I'm doing the right ones. You can see already, look how easy that is to build up the colours. Which was the next one? This one. And this is why I love doing tone on tone. Look how beautiful that looks. And you can still see the stamped lines through that direct pen. So let me just quickly run through this. So I'm doing the rose again. So I'm going to do the edge first. And then just colour in the rest. Oh, it'd make a fabulous anniversary card, this. I've done samples with, you'll see them on the Sentimentally Yours Facebook page in lots of different colourways. And when I got to this one, which is the last one, I couldn't decide between doing red tones like this, or turquoise or brown. And I thought let's do red, because it's one of the colours that we're all a little bit more wary of when you're colouring in. So I wanted to show you how gorgeous this would look in red tones. And obviously I've got the pleasure of using these before, well, testing them before you even see them. So I already know, as a stamper myself, and I know we have lots of stampers, I see the value in stamps. I've always said this, as long as I've been working in this industry, the value for money is in stamps, because you can do so much with them. This card that we're making now, that we're doing in red tones, you could absolutely copy this and do it in yellows, greens, blues, whatever you want. And that's why I love stamps. That's why I'm a stamper. You buy one product, and that one product, this one collection, just keeps on giving. You can do it for any colour theme. So nearly done. And I promise you, we are actually nearly done. You can see already, look, on there and on here, all I've got to colour on there is two more flowers. The pansies on this one, and then the leaves. So roses on here. So there's a rose there, right in the corner. There is a rose here, just on the edge. There is a rose here. I'm going to use the other red and the darker red together to colour the pansy. There's some little flowers underneath. Let's just colour them in dark red just for quickness. Just for quickness. Look how different it looks when you've got a bit of colour on. I hope I've not got my hair in the shot, because I've been twirling my hair all morning. So it's curly. I look like a unicorn. Little red flower. Rose. And I nearly went over that leaf there with the red. So that was a good save. Now, those of you that know me will know that this is a quick card, because I've literally taken you from start to finish, well, start to 3/4 done, in an hour. Oh, that's a rose as well. Fabulous. You don't even need to worry about how you colour these. The colours are just doing all the work. Oh, one more corner. Two more corners. Can't wait to see what you all do. I can't wait. I love it. So do remember, if you follow me on social media, which I imagine most of you do by now, if you don't, I'll give you all the names and everything at the end. Do remember to tag me. So if you if you use the Sentimentally Yours products, just hashtag tag me, Phill Martin, and Sentimentally Yours. So whether it's on Instagram or whatever, if you tag me, I get to see them, and I do look, because I love to see what other people's take on my stamps is. So here we go, we're on the last section. I am going to colour the centre of the flowers in as well. That's a leaf, and that's a rose. That's a little flower. That's a little flower. That's another rose. If you get lost when you're colouring in with what things are, just have a look at the packaging, because the packaging makes it easy for you to see what's what. And last rose. And that is that with the darker colour. I'm just going to clean this ink off my mat where I've gone off the edge of the cardstock. And now we're going to come back to the main image. I'm just going to grab a yellow. I'm sure I've got a yellow. No, I'll put them all back. So I'll just grab a yellow out of here. Not that set. Not that set. This set. Oops. Let's just grab a nice lemon colour. Let's see if that one's pale enough. No, it's too orange. This one. That's the one. So I'm going to do the last flower first, which is the redder red. So we've got the pansy to do, and the pansy I'm doing in a combination of the two colours. And we've also got this little flower here and the rest of the small ones. So I'm going to colour this little flower here first. And hopefully you'll be able to tell the difference, because this is a redder red, if that makes sense. Yeah, you can tell. I'll bring it in and show you. You'll probably notice more on the bigger images. Little taps. And I'm going to do the inside part of the pansy with the redder red. Colour all these little ones in at the same time. Redder red, is there such a thing? There is now. This is like a poppy red. You can see how quick it is to do. This would make a fabulous anniversary card, wedding card, Valentine card, that kind of thing. Ooh, ruby anniversary card done like this, fabulous. So for the pansy look, I have put a lot of detail in the pansy. It's a small image, so you probably won't benefit from it much, but you will when you come to do the bigger versions. So I'm going to just follow the line on the edge, and then I'm just going to flick. I'm not going into the center because I want that to be yellow, but I'm doing all that in red, look. So the outside line, there's no center on that one. Outside line. Oops, I have covered the middle bit, but never mind, I'll show you how to fix that. Outside line. I told you it was quick, and I am taking my time a little bit more with this because I'm trying to show you as I go along, so you would be even quicker. So the outside line, and then the center. Just a couple more. Nearly done. Well, we're not really. I've got another 5 minutes of colouring. Oh, one more. Nearly got away with it. And then, oh, I've done that one. And then the last part is the pansy on this, which is obviously going to be really easy. So I'm just avoiding the centre of the pansy because I want that to be yellow. So I'm just flicking from the centre out. I wanted to do this ahead of the launch to give you some ways of using it. Obviously, don't forget to check out all the samples from the design team. Right, so what we're going to do now, I'm just going to work backwards. So we're coming from the outside with the darker red, and I'm coming up to the colour that we've just done. And then what you will see is two-tone red. Doesn't matter if you overlap a bit, these pens blend themselves. So you can blend the colour with itself, or you can blend it with another colour. That's how good they are. Missed that bit. Working my way around. I'll bring it in and show you in a second. So working my way around. Last one. You're obviously going to have more time to do this. I just wanted to give you the idea. Oh, look how beautiful that looks. The colour is so rich. So let's just do the same with the other. Oops. Naughty Phill. So I'm just touching the edge of the first red. I'm not going over it, we're just touching the edge of it with this secondary colour. And hopefully you'll be able to tell that we've got a darker tone on the outside and a lighter tone on the inside. I mean, you can colour these as proper pansies, it's entirely up to you. But I'm just doing red tones because I like tone on tone. Nearly done. I've just got the leaves to do and the centres of the flowers, which will take about 10 seconds. And then we'll put this card together. We've still got to stamp the sentiment. And I've done the colouring first, which perhaps is a bit back to front. So top tip, stamp your sentiment before you do all your colouring, because then if your stamping of the sentiment is not to scratch, you're not going to waste your time colouring in something that you're not going to use. And if I can't stamp a sentiment right, we're in trouble. Last one. This is why I said to you, watercolouring is so forgiving. I'm actually going in direct, as you can see. And then, where's my little... Oh, there you are. Just got to do the poppies on here. Where are you? There you are. And then this all looks very pinky reddy at the moment. But as soon as we add the greening for the leaves, which I'm going to do in a second, and the yellows for the centre of the flowers, it pulls it all together. So just make sure I've not missed anything. No, no, no. So now we're going to do the center of the flowers, and I'm using the same color for them all. I'm not changing it. It's just easier and it looks nice because it's the same color. Yeah, that's beautiful. You know, I love these stamps. I know I keep saying it, but I can just see the use you're going to get from these. And that little bit of yellow, look, makes it all pop. Direct with the pen. You don't need to water down the palest yellow. So just remember, the poppies that I went over, you can actually go over with the yellow. It will look a bit orangey, but you can actually go over. Last bit, and then we're on to the leaves. And the green is the finishing touch. So the green really does pull it all together. And the leaves I'm going in direct as well, just for richness. Look how that looks already, look. Don't they just look stunning? And now with the greens, I've got two different shades of green. As always, I've got two different shades. So the leaf that's got the most, which is this one, I'm doing in the lighter green. Oh, that's just so lush. I'll bring it in and show you a close-up once I've finished. But I'm going to whiz round this. So there are two different types of leaves in these. Oh, yeah, that's the same. Two different types of leaves. And I always do the one that we've got the most of in the lighter green, and the one that we've got the least of in the darker, just so the dark green doesn't overpower. Look at that. How good, it's like velvet. They look like velvet flowers. So, oh, these are all light. I'm gonna pretend that the inner ones are the darker ones. So I'm going to keep them for the darker. Nearly missed one. Nearly done. And then I'll put this card together and show you how it all looks together. And you can bet your bottom dollar it's going to look $1 million. So that's the light green. We're going in with the dark green now. And I just saved a bit on each look for the darker green. It just gives it dimension when you use two different shades. See how easy it is? So that's that done. There are no leaves on there, that's just flowers. Oh, lovely, lovely, lovely. And you know I'm not going to do a quick video. I could have had half of this done and just showed you the finished result, but that's not me. I like to show you from scratch. So you've literally watched me put the whole thing together. I'll do all the reminders about my TV shows at the end and when that you can get these. And there we go. So let me just move all this, move my pens out the way. So we've now created, just from a couple of stamps, well, literally one stamp set, 2, 3, yeah, we've created this. How absolutely stunning is this? So now let's get the layers put together. I'm laughing, and I don't know why I'm laughing, because I love everything about this. So I'm going to layer this up flat. Remember, I promised you a card that you could probably post. And I'm leaving my butterflies white just because there is a lot of colour on this card from the reds. The cardstock that I've got here is my Summer Poppy. So that is Summer Poppy cardstock. This is going on foam tape. Straight onto the card. So we are nearly done, everybody. I've just got the sentiment to stamp and the butterflies to stick on. And I hope you found it useful. So all my charming dies, for example. So my charming dies that have all those lovely scalloped edges, you're going to be able to use this technique for that as well, for those dies as well. So you can mask off these scallops and actually stamp onto the larger dies, stamp around the edge to create a frame. It actually looks like a second matting layer, doesn't it? So this is going onto my white piece flat. Where would you be if you, here it is, a pokey tool. Oops. And I'm using foam tape rather than glue gel, because I always do on the base of my cards, so that the cardstock doesn't get warped from the wetness of the oh, I've missed the centre of that poppy. Let me just go back to that. Not poppy, pansy even. That's shocking, Philip Martin. And then this is going on foam tape, which I know will surprise you. And I am going around the edges. I don't do none of this lines up and down or the middle, because why would you take all that time to colour in a lovely card and then ruin it by putting just a couple of bits of foam tape in the middle and it go wobbly? We don't do wobbly cards. I want it sturdy, so it's gonna last. And then a couple of diagonal bits, as ever, just to protect the centre. We don't want no saggy centres. And we are going to glitter these, but I'll wait until it's done. We'll do the sentiment after this. So this card is now taking shape. Told you it was easy. Easy peasy. Love it. So now I'm going to pop that straight into the centre. So measure it at the side and the top so that it's symmetrical. Oh, I love that. I love that card. Right, sentiment. So now let's get our little sentiment stamped. We've got the flourish there. I I've got the butterflies there. Remember as well, if you've got the shabby butterflies, because we've got the solid ones, you could stamp roses on the edges of the wings. I'm leaving mine plain. So let's get the sentiment stamp set, which is here. I am nearly done, so 10 minutes and this job will be done. So you'll notice when you get the stamps home that I've done some, I call them 2-liners. So you've got 2 liners, you've got some 3-liners, and you've also got some 4-liners. And I think, oh, it could be either to both of you on your special days. Let's see one I've not used. One that I've not used. To a special couple on your special day. To someone very special. I wanted a 4-liner. That's what I was looking for. I'm going to be very brave and stamp straight in. So I'm stamping straight into the middle of this beautiful watercolour topper. So don't drop it, Phill. And let's go straight into the centre. To someone very special. And also within that die set, remember, oh, that's beautiful. How beautiful is that? Also remember, in the stamp set are the hearts. And I have taken, for some reason, and I knew I would do it, I've taken to put in a couple of little hearts on the sentiments. And I just want to tell you that if you want to extend this frame, you can use all the individual flower stamps and actually continue the design outside of the frame. And for some reason, these little hearts remind me of Paris, like Louis the whatever era, where they had the big hair and the painted on beauty spots. I don't know why, they just do. So let's get this laid up again with foam tape. Nearly done. We're on the last leg, and I'll bring it in, and I'll also bring in the octagon card that I did in the yellow tones, just so you can compare the 2 techniques, the 2 results, because it's the same technique on different die sets. So any of my dies that have that beautiful debossing detail, or the eyelet detail, or my double debossed detailing, so my stitched edge dies, for example, this technique will be fabulous for that. That's the last bit of foam tape. So that worked out really quite nicely. Yep, so I like to give you lots of inspiration, hopefully, of things that you can do and how to use the stamps. I don't just let you buy the stamps and then abandon you. So let's pop that straight in the centre. Oh, that is just so lush. That is stunning, even if I say so myself. And I've done that really quickly. So butterflies and glitter, and we've got a couple of little finishing touches to put on. So the flourish, I'm just going to bend that back. The flourish is going to go there. So I'm going to snip that off here. In fact, I'll put the flourish on now. Let's have the flourish. Now let's have him there. So I'm going to put it on with white glue and just hold it in position. I've just had my tweezers, and how did you end up there? So this is going to go, ooh, choices. It's going to go there. So I've put that on with white glue. Oh, I'm going to take that off, because you know what I forgot to do, don't you? I've got to glitter around this topper first. So one of the things that I've enjoyed doing with these samples is the frame. So the die where we've created the faux frame, if you like, I haven't glittered that one because it would cover up the lovely detail of the dies. But on the top one, I have. And this is, you know what it's going to be. It's going to be Diamond Dazzle. And I know I'm going to get a bit of glitter on that bit of glue, but it won't matter because it's going to be covered up with the flourish. And as ever, I'm doing the outer edge as well. So I'll do it all in one go. Remember, let me just wipe that off. Don't get wet glue onto the pens because they are water-based pens, so the wet glue will reactivate the colour, which is why I'm putting the glue on from the inside out. So I'm putting it on that way so that the glue goes on the outer edge of that coloured cardstock and not too close to my coloured images, my coloured flowers. Top tip, I follow the tips today. So we're nearly done, we're on the last leg. All I've got to do is shape the butterflies and pop them on. Let's get this glitter on first. Diamond Dazzle, as you would expect. And Diamond Dazzle, when the glue's dried and the glue's gone clear, Diamond Dazzle on coloured cardstock looks stunning. So we'll get that lovely summer poppy tone from the cardstock showing through the glitter, and it looks beautiful. So we're on the last leg. Thank you for staying, if you have stayed. And if you fast forwarded to the end to see what the end result was like, I'll forgive you, just this once. So now let's shape the butterflies because there was a lot of colour in. So butterflies, face down, bone folder, hold the centre. We will glitter the wings, the tips of the wings. And I don't cover the whole thing in glue, I just do the points, the antennae, because I do like the plainness of the white cardstock, just with that little tint of glitter, like that, look. And same with the other one, face down, curl towards me, curl away from me, hold the centre with the tweezers. The tweezers, you know, all of you that know me will know, these are my flat nose tweezers that come in my set of 3, and they are an essential for me. I use them for everything. So glitter on there, just pop that to one side. Let's get the flourish on. So the flourish can go back where it's supposed to have gone. So the flourish can go back where I said, which was about there. A little bit of glue gel for the large butterfly, which is going here. And I'm breaking all the rules by doing 2s. I don't do this. You have to have 3, 5s, 7s and all that palaver. Just do what you like. Do what looks lovely to you. So I'm going to go that direction with the butterfly. Oops. Just got a little lump there from the glue gel. That will never do. So I'm covering up the end of that flourish. and the other butterfly is going up in that direction, so let's go about there. You sit still. I'm talking to the butterfly, not myself. And then we've just got one more job to do, and those of you that know me will know what's coming next, and it's a couple of pearls. And I'm using, because I've got a red card here, I'm using the berry red pearls, and I'm just putting 3 on, and I'm going to have 2 down here, so 1 there. Ooh, 1 next to it. Sit still, sit still. I did just tut then, you are absolutely right. And I'm going to have 1 up there, but I was tutting at the pearls, and there, I'm going to stop there. So how easy was that to do? I know we've taken an hour and a half or so, but I have shown you from start to finish. If you were making this yourself, you would definitely be quicker than I've just been, because you would have all your bits ready to go. So let's just bring that in and show you how beautiful this card is. And I will bring in the orange one, the yellow one, sorry. Just make some space, and then I'll do a couple of little reminders for you. So here we go, look. So flat enough for you to post, which is a rarity from me, as you know. So once the glue gel's dried on the butterflies, that would easily go in an envelope. So we've got that lovely detailing still showing, look, on the edge of the die, which is the whole point of this video, to show you the new stamps. How beautiful is that in reds, and it just looks really rich, like velvet. So that is the one that we've made today, which is the red tones, and this is the original one in yellow tones. So from the same stamp collection. How beautiful are these cards though, and so easy to make. I'm not going to go through all the stamps again, because you will see them hopefully when you watch my launch show tomorrow night. So I'll do a little reminder for you. So my Create and Craft shows are Friday the 7th of July at 6 p.m. and 9 p.m. and Saturday the 8th of July, which is this Friday and Saturday at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. assuming there's any stock left. As always, if you buy from TV, I would urge you to buy on the first hour, because the stock I've given TV is probably it. I don't think I've got any spare. You can order from us direct from Sunday evening at midnight. The limited edition border set, you can order now. You can order the limited edition border set now, because that is not going on TV. That is an exclusive limited edition that you can only get from myself or retailers. And that is the card I made with the borders on Monday evening. So do check out the video for my lives on Monday evening. So a couple of little reminders for you all. Please, if you haven't already, I would very much appreciate you subscribing to my channel, Crafting with Phill Martin. Loads of videos already on there. I do a live demo every Monday evening UK time at 7 p.m. with different techniques, different collections of my products. You can also please follow my Sentimentally Yours Facebook page. That's where you get all the up-to-date information. Everything that's happening is done on there. There's also my own Facebook page, which is Phill Crafty Martin. You can give me a follow on there. For those of you that do Twitter, I'm also on Twitter, Phill M Martin. And guess what? on Instagram, Phill M Martin, and second to last is TikTok. I've just started doing the TikTok, and shock horror, it's Phill M Martin. So do keep in touch with me on all these social media places. There's only one more thing I need to tell you now, and that is if you would like to join our private Facebook group, which is my Sentimentally Yours private Facebook group. I've got loads of fabulous inspiration in there from the design team, from the fellow crafters in there. Everybody in the group is so lovely and friendly. I'm very strict who I let into my Facebook group. So you do have to accept my rules when you ask to join. So just search on Facebook for Crafting with Phill Martin and Sentimentally Yours, and the group should pop up, and you can ask to join. So feel free to share my YouTube videos on your own Facebook pages, what have you. Just copy the link and paste it onto your Facebook page or your group or whatever. And I hope you've enjoyed that. So I thoroughly enjoyed showing you a different way to use your fancy edge dies without going over the edge with your stamps. It just looks really, really polished and really quite classy. And that is what we're all about. Still keeping all the detail from the dies and still managing to use the stamps. So thank you very much, everybody. I will see you on your telly box tomorrow night at 6 p.m. on Create and Craft. Thanks, everybody. Bye. That weren't bad luck. 1 hour 36. That's not bad for me at all. See you tomorrow, everybody. Bye.